introduced, right? I was actually clapping for you. First things first, good afternoon. Say it back to me. Outstanding. I have to say it's an honor to be here. And one of the things that I'd like you to open your minds to is not just the purpose of today's talk/conversation. I hope to go for roughly 20 minutes or so, and hopefully you'll have some questions. But I would like you to focus on you. One of the things that you didn't hear in the introduction is that I was a non-traditional student. When I was your age, and I went to college, I failed out. I wasn't ready to go back to college. I wasn't ready to go to college at all. Growing up on welfare has some very serious consequences. It has consequences to spirit, it has consequences to growth, it has consequences to health, and it certainly has consequences to your internal spirit. So when I started my academic journey at MVCC, I was 34 years old and went to school 19 years straight to finish my doctoral studies. As you heard, I'm really a really lucky guy. I work 7 days a week. That's very, very typical. Matter of fact, this morning my wife was in my office over at MVCC, and I was telling my assistant how one of the deans is taking next week off. And so my assistant says, "How much time are you going to take off next week?" And my wife says, "He has no clue what that is." He's driven. He's excited. Would I deem myself a workaholic per se? But you may have heard the expression that a person who enjoys what they do doesn't work a day in their life. I'm really lucky. I have 3.5 jobs, and there's not one of them I don't look forward to doing. I'm real excited. Because at the end of the day, I can go home no matter what time that is, knowing that I made a positive impact in some way, shape, or form. I'm going to surprise you with an expression, and the expression is, education has no value. Kind of ironic that we're sitting in a gym where I used to play basketball, or, as Daniels would say, trying to play basketball. But the rest of that sentence is, education has no value unless you take someone with you. So as you're going about your day, as you're going class to class, as you're spending time with faculty, as you're interacting with each other, my challenge to you today is, what is your footprint? What are you leaving behind with that last conversation which you just had? You also heard that I'm immersed in serving people who suffer. On face, that may not seem like it is something that you need to be excited about. As a matter of fact, one of the people at MVCC today was asking, "Can you tell me what your organization is going to be doing for the holidays?" And I walked her through it. And a lot of people say, "How can you do what you do?" Because we lose a lot of people. We lose at least 2 or 3 kids under the age of 3 every year. How do we do what we do and smile? Because I'm proud enough to say that I'm able to do something about it short term. I'm able to make sure that my footprint in their lives is something positive, whether it's for a few days, whether it be for a few months. So I'm excited to make a positive social change. So the question is, while you're here at the alma mater, that's one of my former students who's now become a good friend. And I just fell in love with that picture. She's a mom down in Florida. And someone captured that picture when she was studying in Starbucks. And I said, that is a picture of academic focus. She says, "Dr. Montgomery, when I look at that picture, I see my responsibility. I see a world," she says, "in which I am not expected through the pigment of my skin to excel academically." That's what I see. I'm getting my job done. Every one of you does have an obligation. Every one of you does have, in some way, shape, or form, a contribution to make here, not just to each other at SUNY IT, but also when you leave. We'll get to that. So as you know, I grew up on welfare. And I use this picture a lot when I travel literally around various states because a lot of faculty and a lot of administrators in colleges would like to know, how do you take a kid from welfare and turn him into a doctoral student? And I'm going to walk you through a couple of those things today because they are highly relevant. One of the things you should recognize, hopefully, is that you're approaching your education and your social life with two words: academic humbleness. And that is to recognize that you don't know everything. And I remember your age. I have two sons a little older than you, so I understand this. Because at 15, and maybe even younger than that, I would say 12 or 13-year-olds, at 12 or 13, both of my sons thought they knew everything. It was amazing. They didn't need their father's advice, but they couldn't feed themselves. They didn't see the value of education as they're walking around with D's. But they had a plan for success, or they thought that they did. So one of the things I'd like you to get from this photograph is to remember the path of your academic and social journey. You cannot get there by yourself. How do you get there is relatively important. The first thing you have to have is a dream. Like that says the man upstairs, a person without a dream does not exist. I have a lot of dreams. Dreams are good for the soul. One of my dreams was to go to Indiana University and watch some basketball. It was interesting because I ended up studying there for 3 weeks. One of the most powerful educational research institutions in the United States. And it took a little bit of a battle, but I ended up getting onto the floor at the Indiana University and also fulfilling one of my dreams. Couldn't get there by myself. So one of the things that's important for you is to be able to articulate, to be able to speak. What is your dream? What is your vision? And not only that, you have to articulate it to somebody. Just out of curiosity, because it is Tell the Truth Tuesday, how many people here have a mentor? Put your hand up. I guarantee it's not many. Sweet Jesus, look at this. Maybe 4. The rest of you are in trouble. The rest of you have no plan. If you do have a plan, I'm going to argue that plan is not a strong one. A role of a mentor, outside of the fact of guiding you, which is also a very broad word, the role of a mentor is to keep you motivated. Also to keep you accountable. Once in a while, they give you a hug. Sometimes that sounds a little corny, especially to young men. I hug anything that moves. I could care less. And in my role as associate dean, you would be surprised how often I am in the embrace of the student who is hurting. Especially those who, for the first time, have a male role model that they can relate to and trust, and the need to have that physical connection. The role of a mentor is to let you know that we are more excited about your future than you are. A role of a mentor is someone who you aspire to be like. My father used to say, if you want to drive a BMW, don't talk to the guy with the Volkswagen that wishes he had it. Those of you who don't have a mentor, you're talking to the guy with the Volkswagen. One of the things that I learned years ago from a woman named Joan Hines Stewart, and you probably don't know that name, and that's fine, is she was the most recent president at Hamilton College. And years ago, I was working there in the HGOP program, and she stopped by my office, and she says, Mark, can we have a conversation? And I said, what am I going to tell you? No. And she says, every day I see you, you have a smile. Every day I see you, you have this energy. And students follow you everywhere. Can you tell me where that comes from? And during the course of the conversation, she said to me, who do you aspire to be like? Who gets you excited? And I said, would you believe it is you? I would like to know what it is like to walk into a room and feel respected. I would like to know when I walk walk into a room, that what I have to say has value. I'd like to know what it is like to excel. And she says that you need to spend time with me and others who have what you are looking for. And it works very, very well. The word autonomy, to do what you like when you feel like it. A recurring theme this morning is inspiration. Are you surrounding yourself with people who get you up late at night because you're thinking about them, because you want to perform well? Do you have people in your life who are qualified to move you forward and you can't wait to spend time with them? Do you have access to people, either through Facebook or Snapchat, whatever it is going on in your life, or even just stopping by offices? And are you being led by these people who are encouraging you to be great, not just to settle for? Through my nonprofit work, 7 days a week, I am once again surrounded by people who will never have a chance to sit in your seats. Every Saturday, I tell my Taekwondo students, when you step onto this floor, you will train like you are thankful. When I throw up a basketball at every basketball game, before we start the game, I tell them you will not disrespect this game, yourselves, your family, or each other. And you will play this game like you are thankful, because not everybody can. Let's go. On the left-hand side of that photograph, that is Jose from Utica. Jose has inoperable brain cancer. He is an amazing young man. I learn from him every time we have a conversation. I learned how important today is. 2 words, carpe diem. Anybody know what those 2 words mean? Yes, sir. What's that? God love this kid. Seize the day. That's what Jose teaches me. I'm excited to spend time with this young man. We have no idea how long he has left. But he teaches while he is here. The gentleman on the right just happens to be my boss. He's the president of MVCC. One day I said to him, can we go for a bicycle ride together? He said, well, sure, what's up? I want to ride about 20 miles for kids with cancer. He says, when? I'm in. You have to learn to surround yourself with people who are in constant pursuit of doing the right thing. I will say this about the president. The president is huge on something called civility. Model the way is one of our models in our creed that we follow in our institution. We don't care where you come from. We don't care what color you are. We don't care what your gender is. We don't care what your sexuality is. That's not our interest. But we care about you as a person. And a discussion. Could care less about your political affiliation. The idea here is how to get you to excel. I remember when I was a student here, there are days I did not have a lot of fun. Trust that. There are faculty members I did not get along with. Trust that. I have conflicts with some of my faculty here. One of them, there's a room in the library named after him, Dr. Briggs Mohan Mullick. And we used to clash like 2 goats on a hunt. At the end of my academic journey here, when I left SUNY Poly and I started my master's degree and ultimately turned in my master's thesis, the committee said, can we ask where you did your undergrad? I said, yes, at a place called SUNY IT in Utica. They said, no, really? Where did you do your undergrad work? SUNY IT. This is not SUNY level writing. This is well above SUNY level writing. This is where you're at. This is what can happen if you bring these things into play. There are a lot more than perceived faculty which are going to hinder you from your success. We live in a very interesting time now in the United States. A lot of people aren't getting along. Not as many hugs going on. Civility could be an issue. I'm here to tell you, you're missing out on so much. You're missing out on what makes us human. You're missing out on what makes us who we are. What is very interesting is we get these lessons that remind us that we have to stick together in order for us to all be successful. I'll give you a case in point. This Saturday, I'm on a taekwondo tournament in Buffalo. My phone pings because we had, as you saw in the news, a potential active shooter on campus. If right now all your phones went off, I guarantee you that we would not separate by race. I guarantee you we would not separate by gender. I guarantee we would not separate by sexual preference. I guarantee we would protect each other without any other thought. Why does it take potential tragedy for us to forget this? Why does it take it? I told a gentleman yesterday morning on the way to work, he was upset about something, and I said, you know, you gotta pay attention to the cues, Callaway. What do you mean? Because the man upstairs keeps sending each and one of us messages that tomorrow is promised to no one. How many shootings does it take? How many kids with cancer does it take to have you all recognize that there is unequivocally nothing special about any one of you in those seats? Nothing! Only thing is you are unique. And if you don't value that which you have been provided, the man upstairs will send you a message. I'll take it back. Have a nice day. I'll see you soon. Diversity is a very broad statement. And in order to be civil, in order to get along, you have to recognize that all these things, all these different mindsets, all these different value systems, makes us Americans. One of the things I am most proud of at my time here at SUNY is I felt so connected to this institution. Also helped that I'm a social butterfly. I'll talk to anything that moves too. But the experiences I had here with faculty and administration was so profound. And any time I have a chance to come out of here, as Mr. King will tell you, I jump on it. A constant thank you to this institution. You got to give it a chance. But you've got to get out of your comfort zone. We all come from different places, and some of the places we come from are not compatible to different lifestyles or different cultures and race and mindsets. I grew up out in the country. 5 people in a goat, very, very small community. I've experienced racism my entire life, and I gotta tell you, it takes a lot for me to use the R word. Look up my name in 2008, you'll see that I had a noose hung on my door at work. Do you know what it looks like when someone's hung from a noose? That is what someone said they wanted for me. And it's all right. 5 minutes later, they were forgiven. The person who hung it ultimately turned himself in, faced a lot of jail time and 450 hours of community service. I offered to do the community service with him, to send him a message. This is what education delivers. To be able to look back with an objective lens and say, yeah, that was a tough one. But I'm willing to look through your lens so we can move forward and inspire through our conduct versus conflict. That's one of my former students with a hairstyle from hell. His name is Rel. And Rel was a real interesting challenge for me. This is back when I was working at Alfred State. He came to me one day and said, well, I've been watching you for a couple of months, Dr. Montgomery. I said, you need to watch TV or something. He says, no. I'm going to ask you a very serious question. Come on, man. How can I help you? I don't have a father figure. I said, well, with hair like that, why would you? This is called absurd. All right, what's up? I'd like you to be my mentor. That's a real powerful statement. And by the way, he's in the Bloods. He's the real deal. And so I had to put aside my value systems to look at the big picture, knowing what I know about the Bloods. And I used to work in jails and prisons. I had a front row seat to some of these activities. And I still keep in contact with him. He's doing well. We have to do the same thing in classrooms. Because in classrooms, you know you're going to be faced with people who have a different opinion. And it may just rub you the wrong way. In the cafeteria during sporting events. As you know, I officiate basketball. You would be surprised how much time I spend teaching young men manners. Teaching young men inclusiveness. Teaching young men it's okay to be a little different. You would be surprised. And what you have to recognize is what is your role when you experience things that are different. And a lot of these times right now, you have no idea because you're not qualified to know. You think you do, which is kind of neat because you don't have a degree. But the bottom line is, you have to get in contact with people who do. That is where you acquire your answers. That is where you acquire something called wisdom. And you have to make sure your plan makes sense. You don't want to drive the Volkswagen, even though some of them are kind of cool. But you have to make sure that your plan is actually realistic. Otherwise, it becomes the shark's turn. And it's usually not a very winning scenario. So just ponder this for just a second. You may be surprised. I was out at the University of Buffalo a couple of weeks. I was in Maryland 2 weeks ago, and last week I was down in Sleepy Hollow. All three places I asked this question of educated professionals, from PhDs down. And I asked them this question: would you believe easily 75% of people cannot respond to this question? We have become so poor at communication. Boy, we got these phone things now, but now students struggle completing a sentence. Or when they come to a job interview, they can't express themselves. Or they avoid eye contact. Or when you come to a job interview and one of the most common questions is, tell me about yourself. Oh, shoot. I don't know how to answer that one. I was literally on phone interviews last night for 4 hours with a committee. And they struggled with this. So, get this one in your head. What do you bring? Now what do you bring that can make the world or the SUNY campus a better place? Because if that is not your mission, college really is not for you. College has to be the most exciting, robust time of your life. Where else can you get exposed to this much diversity so quickly? And learn about the world and learn to value differences. This is awesome. If they match, you are on a good track right now. Most professionals don't match, so don't feel bad if you don't. Here's the consequence. Anybody ever been to the lower ninth ward in New Orleans? Wow. I was there twice. I was at the University of New Orleans last fall. And the professor said, have you ever been down to where Katrina hit? Nope. Would you like to see it? Yes. Behind me is the new levee. We're down at the lower portion. And he says, you would be amazed at what you don't know that doesn't hit the news. It is amazing what happens when people perceive they are helpless, and they have no choice, and they have no vision. I taught psychology and social sciences 15 years, and I always ask the students to look at the bird cage. Why is the bird just sitting there? Because the bird has been conditioned. Why bother flying? I might as well just sit here. I was one of those kids. I was the bird. Growing up on welfare has that impact. Every month going down to Utica, begging for food stamps, wearing hand-me-down clothes. I tell people I have a picture of myself. I was pretty good at tennis. I was center state champ. And I remember trying out for the Syracuse U tennis team, and I couldn't afford a pair of sneakers. And I literally had to have white medical tape wrapped around my sneakers because they were flopping and falling apart. That's how I had to try out. I had no voice. I had no vision. I had no inspiration. I didn't have hope. Would you believe that 20 to 25% statistically of people sitting around you right now are on social welfare? They may not be there literally, but socially they are there, and they need to know that they exist. Years ago, I was working at Unadilla Valley School down in New Orleans, another place with two people in the go with no sense of humor. And I had this one student named Sarah. And Sarah had that gothic look. You ever see it? Some of you don't want to see it Halloween. And so she would come to class and she would just sit in the corner. She wouldn't participate. And I watched her for a couple of weeks. And I brought her to my office. I said, Sarah, what are you trying to hide? What do you mean? You're hiding something. I understand the psychology. You're going to hide the gothic look. What are you hiding? She says, I don't exist. We're talking about that. I come to school, no one says hello. I go to class, go home, eat lunch. Nobody cares. Would you believe, Mr. Montgomery, that I've actually skipped school and the school doesn't call? Short version, I said, I can fix this. I was totally full of it. I said, I can fix this. 2 nights later, if my wife were here, she would tell you 1 o'clock in the morning, I said, I got it. Next day I go to class and I said, ladies and gentlemen, you have an assignment. If you do not complete this task, you fail the course. Every day when Sarah comes to school, you're going to walk over and just say, hello. That's it. At lunchtime, going to stop by and say hello. Before she goes home to school, goes home, you're going to just have a good night. I'm not asking you to be her friend, just to acknowledge her existence. I spoke at their commencement that year. Sarah was a senior. Sarah's hair was not black anymore. It was back to blonde. Gothic look was gone. You know full well as you walk around your campus who Sarah is. What does it cost to step by and say, I just want to say hello? Have a good one. I drive people crazy wherever I go, my wife too. You have to talk to everybody. Well, yes, I do. And I walk up to students, hey, how you doing? Just want to say hello. And I give them my Clayville peace sign. They're like, what the heck was that? It's how we roll in the country. You know, it's our thing. You get people to get in contact with who they are, get them to exist, they start to feel. When you start to feel, there's a possibility that you can achieve. When you start to achieve, you start gravitating towards something called success, and you try. And it increases student connectivity, which increases retention, which is a whole new workshop, one of my favorites. Any psychology majors here? Okay. Oh, that's it? Really? We got enough lunch because I love you. I just want to do it. There. So, you're going to read about this guy, if you haven't already. His name was Lev Vygotsky. And he introduced something called scaffolding. In sum, what this means is you have a master and a student, and this master bestows knowledge, and the student tries it, and the more the student gains, the less and less you need the master. Right now, you need the master. You'll look back at experiences at SUNY, no matter how difficult you perceive they are, it really wasn't that tough. Because this is happening. But it can happen if you don't seek out the Master. The Master's waiting for you. I'm a huge advocate of service, as you know. Actually, this was riding through Niagara County at 40 some odd degrees. It was very painful, but it was an honor. I encourage you to give back. What giving back of the self will really keep you in contact with my favorite two words, carpe diem. Giving back will get you in contact with, you know what, I really don't have it that bad. You need to be reminded of that. You need to be reminded that not everybody has a mom and a dad and a dog in the backyard. Not everybody has that access. Encourage your faculty to serve with you. As you go out and you meet people who you perceive need your voice or your support, the number one motivator to academic success is this. It's not financial aid. It's not do I have a book. Connectivity is everything. I need to know that this endeavor that I have is a part of something. If you don't believe that being a part of something is important, tell your friends to ignore you for half a day. I dare you. Half a day is all you need. Don't respond to your text. Hey, honey. You got time for that. And watch what happens to you. You have to have this in order to move forward. And how that works is through connectivity. Wow, this is going fast. So I'm going to end with this and have you ask any questions. So this morning I talked to Kayvon. Kayvon was one of my students at Montgomery College when I was teaching psychology. Sat right there in the front, handsome dog. Always real excited to come to my psychology class. Whenever I asked a question, his hand went up. He was ready. Most of the time, if not all the time, he was wrong. I said, Kayvon, dude, you're killing me. I need to see you after class. Did I do something wrong? Well, yes, you're getting on my nerves. So we sat down at the table. I said, can you tell me why you're in college? I don't know. I really don't want to be here. He was a cocaine dealer. His father was in prison for coke. His mother said, you get out of here and go to school. He says, I don't have any problem working at McDonald's. He said, there's nothing wrong with working at McDonald's. I said, can I talk to you as if you were my son? He says, yes, outstanding. I said, do you have a girlfriend? He says, in fact, I have two. I said, well, welcome to the college experience. I said, but one day you're going to have what I have. And that is a woman in your life, or man, I could care less, but your significant other, when people mention your name, they stand up a little taller. And that has to be earned. And I try to earn that every day with her. We've been together 33 years. God bless that one. And I said, let me tell you something about women. I've learned a lot. They like to feel special. They like to go for walks. They like an occasional gift. Once in a while, they like a really nice dinner. I said, the problem with your plan is yours is going to be limited to the dollar menu. And that's going to get old when someone else goes by with a little more coin. I said, when she goes home to her parents, they're going to ask how she is doing. And then they're going to ask, well, how's Kayvon doing? He's doing all right. What's he up to? He's working at McDonald's. And I said, let's pray, Kayvon. We're going to pray about. We're going to pray you don't have children. What? Well, kids, especially boys, like to brag about their fathers. There's my mom over there. There's my pops. What's pops do? Oh, he's chilling. He's over at Mickey D's. tears start coming. He says, I don't want that. I rejected his paper 7 times. I have a very high academic standard, but realistic. He wanted the A. The next exam, he pops an A. I said, what is wrong with you? I'm done. I said, if you continue to have this educational epiphany, I'm going to buy you dinner. It's not going to be at McDonald's. He aces every one of my exams. On the final exam, he has the highest score in his section. He writes a note on the bottom of the exam, so when's dinner? Ladies and gentlemen, if you go west about 25 miles to a town called Mannheim, there's a gorgeous place called Beardsley Castle. That's where I took him to dinner. I needed him to taste, to smell, and to feel what hard work, what connectivity, what civility can yield. A lifestyle of support, a lifestyle of generosity, a lifestyle of thanks, and a lifestyle of academic humility. That is what I beg of you to employ. What questions can I answer for you? Don't be shy, they're on sale today. Hi. Well, thank you for having me. I very appreciate it. This is an honor. You know, coming from, it's really surreal. I mean, because I remember welfare like it was yesterday. I remember what that was like. And to have the opportunity to wear some halfway decent clothes and being in a position of academic leadership. One day, when I finished my doctorate, it was a wonderful thing. Trust me, I cried. Condoleezza Rice was our speaker. She was closer. Literally, she was this far away from me as she spoke at commencement. I'm like, wow, this could work. But you can't get there by yourself. You need each other. Anything else? Any other questions? Hi. I have a few. One of my mentors is my sister, Michelle. She is a professor at the University of New Orleans. And as soon as I took my job at MVCC in leadership, she said, we can no longer speak because you went to the dark side. My next mentor I met at Hamilton College. He was the director of the Career Center, and his specialty is getting students ready to compete for Fortune 500 companies. His name is Keno Ruth. He's number 2. Number 3 is my martial arts master. The life of a black belt means 24 hours a day I am accountable for my conduct, Facebook, basketball, not-for-profit service, anything. We can't turn it off as instructors. Otherwise, we have to surrender our belt. And on a regular basis, I'm talking to him about decisions, families who I'm serving, all these kind of things. So I have three mentors. Here I am, 55 years old, and I'm doing the same thing I'm asking of you. And that's a real point of emphasis for me at MVCC when naughty students have to come in and see the principal. As I tell them, we're in the same boat, just at different places. I have instructors. I have 3 bosses, my dean, the president, and my wife. My wife, I call her my favorite German. She's a 4th degree master. I'm only a 2nd degree, which means I don't come home late. Anything else? You're a very quiet group. I find this striking. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Hi. Thank you. As a potential mentor, that's the easiest one in the world. Easiest one in the world. The question is, who do you go to for a mentor? Here's one of the flaws you students have. How many of you have gotten a bad grade back from a paper? You sit there and lie. Most of you have. And a lot of times, faculty may say you need to do this paper over again. And how many of you go to the writing center or go to a friend? And what I mean by that is you bring your concerns or problems to people who are not qualified. That's one of your inherent flaws. Your first point of interest is someone who inspires you. Second one is someone who has what you're looking for. I know I wanted to be in a position of academic leadership, so I wanted to talk with somebody who can. Here's a perfect example. This morning I met a president of a college who really impressed me from Illinois. I'm going to write her. She was such a class act. She commanded the room. And I want to know her journey. And to take the time to get to know somebody. What price did you have to pay to get there? A lot of you can tell me what your career choices are, but you can't tell me the sacrifices that you have to make to get there. And that's critical. But once more, you are in a place, as a witness, you are in a place that can provide you dreams. You are in a place that is providing academic excellence. I'm extremely proud of my experience here, and I tell the world. Not very popular with my boss, but I tell the world. It's a great place, and I encourage you to embrace it. Any other questions or comments? Hi.
Can you speak to the value of service and service learning and how that enriches your life?
You know, Joseph's Experience, which is the name of my nonprofit, thank you for asking that question. The first thing Joseph's Experience taught me was, you know, everybody do this. Just put your hands up and do this. Come on. Isn't this corny? Service taught me this. Every day when I go to my office, I sit down, I have my cup of coffee, and I do this. Why? Because everything works. I can walk and talk and feed myself without assistance. Anybody have that issue here? You've already had a great day. Then I look across and I see that gorgeous picture of my wife, and I say to my wife, I will not let you down today. That's how I start my day. What service teaches me is that there are other people with deeper concerns or deeper problems than I have. What is my role in terms of inspiration? What can I do to make a positive impact? What can I learn from today? Because carpe diem is everything. Service teaches you ethics, which I'm going to argue has been at a downturn for about 10 years with people of youth. My former boss used to say, if you're on time, you're late. I had a student come to my office yesterday, 20 minutes late. I said, before we even start a conversation, can you tell me why you're late? Because typically I will see students who are 1 minute late. Talk to me. There's the bar. Service also teaches you to complete. Especially if you do service with things that are meaningful. It teaches you empathy, not sympathy. Service also on a broader lens for me professionally. And some of this gentleman even said it here. It gives me a sense of purpose. My organization is very connected with Hamilton College, MV, several high schools. We service together all year. All different races and cultures from literally around the world. Service can provide you with the opportunity to see the world through the lens of someone you're working with. Service, for my view, is the magic bullet. We need service more than ever in the United States. This is happening way too quick for my taste. As soon as your cell phone goes off again, remember what I said today. Right now, we got these silos until something goes wrong, and then it doesn't matter. I got your back now. What are you waiting for? This is what service also does. With service, you don't wait. With service, I got your back. With service, we're going to make a difference, but we're going to do it together. And that's everything. If that's all you have, go Wildcats. Thank you very much.